This is the Princess Y80, the latest addition to Princess's Y-Class range, and it's come all the way from Plymouth under its own steam to the Cannes Boat Show to make its world debut. It shares a hull and lower deck with the X80, but from there up it's all swoopy, lovely Y-Class magic. Though it has got some new things, it's the smallest Princess model to have the infinity cockpit. It's got some new design touches in the interior, 4 cabins on the lower deck, and in this video I'm going to give you a full tour. So let's get going. I'm Jack Haynes, welcome to YachtBuyer. Starting back here at the transom, we of course have the hydraulic bathing platform. You can also stow a tender and toys up on the Flybridge via crane. We'll talk a bit more about that when we get up there. Obviously you can see the little benches, you can sit and look aft, but one of the key features of the Y80 is the option to have this infinity cockpit here. So you have this glass section which gives you that amazing view out over the water. We'll have a look at that properly when we get up to the cockpit. Equal access up both sides. This is a big storage locker in here. There's access to the crew cabin on the starboard side. We're going to go and look at that at the end of the tour. But this really is the area on deck, on the main deck anyway, that is most significant. And this is where we see one of the biggest pieces of innovation. There were 3 different layouts you can have here in this cockpit. You can have the traditional fixed bench with the table, you can have freestanding furniture, or you can have this infinity cockpit where not only do you get the seating arranged this way round, but you also get the glass transom as well, which is obviously designed to maintain that connection to the water. And we've seen it before on Princess, we've seen it before from other manufacturers, but it's executed in typical Princess fashion. There's a lovely curvature to the way the transom is integrated, the curve of the stainless steel. It all looks really smart. And this for me is the arrangement to have back here. I just think it works really, really well. There's the practical stuff as well, of course. You've got all your mooring gear down here, the integration neatly of the fair leads and the nice big cleat and the winch and all of that good stuff that you need to actually run the boat. We'll carry on up the starboard side to the foredeck. Lovely wide side decks, very easy to move up and down this boat. It's very safe, really beautiful stainless steel, and it's nice that it's sort of rounded, quite thick, nice to hold on to. And as you can see, we have a side door here. There's actually 2 side doors on the starboard side. You've got this one that leads in to the helm, and there's one further aft for the galley. And the foredeck is another area where they've really focused on giving you a lot of living space. You've got storage lockers either side as you walk past. They're really well positioned to chuck in lines and fenders. They're full width as well, and they're connected, so you can put big long items in there really easily. Nice big sofa running under the windscreen there, and then this actually converts into a sun pad. This boat doesn't have the option, but you can have the paraphernalia to convert all this into a sun pad. It sits on top of the table and gives you a really nice area to relax in the sun. This is storage on this boat, but you can option this as a cooler, which I think is a great idea because it means you don't have to go to the back of the boat to get a cold drink. You can stash this full of cold drinks and you never have to move this lovely sunbathing space. Twin winches, twin anchors on this boat, and you've got separate anchor lockers here as well. That's the main deck outside then. Let's head up to the Flybridge. Really nice, easy access up to the Flybridge. Good banister, wide, deep steps. Very easy to get up here. And then, wow, it's a big space. And quite handily, they've put this next to a Y85. And if we get a shot of that side by side, you'll notice the Flybridge isn't that much smaller on this Y80. It is truly enormous. To demonstrate that, I can tell you about a few of the options you have back here. So obviously this is a sunbathing option. If you have the crane, it actually forms part of the end of the sun pad. So it's really neatly integrated. You haven't got some horrible bit of lifting equipment in the way. It's all part of the fixture there, which is really clever. Of course, if you want your tender up here, toys up here, that's what you use. If you don't want the sun pad, you can have L-shaped seating that goes around here. You can have freestanding Minotti furniture, or you can have a spa bath. Proper super yacht touch. So lots of options in the cockpit and up here to really do what you want to make this area your own. Talking of that, there are some options with the hardtop as well. This boat's just got the fixed one, but you can have glass panels in there, and you can also have the vane sunroof, so that just uses metal vanes that tilt to open and close. Really big sweep of seating here opposite the wet bar. There's a break in the middle of the table as well, so you can separate it, meaning you can get in and out more easily. If you're not dining, you want people to be able to get in and out of those seats more easily. That does make sense. Really lovely fabric up here. It's nice and soft and comfortable. Doesn't get too hot, hard wearing. Yeah, it looks really, really smart. And then you have the usual Princess trick here, where this area slides out and you can make it into a sun pad. It's not in that mode at the moment, but you can just extend that to give you a bit more sunbathing space. But they've got so much space up here, they've been able to flank the two helm seats with some seating on both sides, which works really, really well. I love the helm station on this boat, not only because there's loads of space between both of the seats so that people can move around without disturbing the skipper, but the skipper is slap bang in the middle. You've got a fantastic view forward over the bow. You can see towards the cockpit as well, and it's really nicely arranged. This boat's actually got the smaller screens, and only one. You can have another screen up here. You've got the Bonning screen in the Raymarine. You can have another Raymarine up here if you want, but the Bonning, which is on all the Y-class yachts, gives you full digital switching from both helms. Really nicely presented right under your fingertips. Talk about performance. You can have 1800, 1900 or 2000 horsepower MANs. This is actually the first boat, and it came all the way from Plymouth to the show on its own bum, and they got 35 knots out of it. So performance isn't going to be an issue on the Y80, that's for sure. Let's head downstairs. Inside we go then, and I have to say Princess Design Studio have done it again. It looks and feels absolutely lovely in here. There's some fantastic detailing. The way this timber detailing runs around here and then connects into the sideboard that goes into the galley, and that lovely curve that runs round towards the forward end of the saloon, it's just great. And all of these are nice soft curves as well. There isn't a hard angle to be seen. It's beautiful, and they've used some really nice materials in here as well. They've gone to porcelain on the tops, which is nice and cool to the touch, feels really hard wearing, and they've moved away from glass to use porcelain on the table as well, which makes so much more sense. Glass tables look great but are a nightmare to look after, so that's a really good decision, and it looks lovely. In terms of the actual space, down here you've got some cooling space in this dresser here, and there's bottle storage behind. The TV pops up from that unit there. There's a button up here on the wall, and that just pops up from behind this section here opposite this L-shaped sofa. There's a really nice amount of floor space as well. You can move around this area really freely. Even if people are sitting down with the legs stretched out, you can move in and out through this area. It's totally flat until you get to the helm station, so it's a very easy deck to move around on. And it's even things like the way the detail runs into the roofline here. There are no sort of plain surfaces on this boat. It's all really elegantly done. The fact that you've got this sort of storage space here with the side table neatly integrated in the side of the sofa. Little details all over the place, just elevate things really nicely. This dining table can slide away towards the window, so when you're on passage you've got a bit more room to move up and down here. And just look at the use of glass here. It's actually on the side decks where you realise how enormous these panels of glass are, but the effect in here right by the dining table is superb. Works really nicely. And you'll have noticed we've got an amidships galley. There's been such a move towards the aft galley that it feels quite novel to have one here, but it just reminds you how well this area can work when there's enough space. It's sociable. If it's not a crewed boat, the person in the kitchen is in the heart of the action. If it is crewed, you can have a section that raises up here to the ceiling to block it off, and there's a door as well. But crew can still get out onto the side deck through the side door. I mentioned that, out on the side deck, so that's where that second door is. You've got full height sub-zero fridge freezer here, and all the usual things you'd expect: dishwasher, induction cooking, oven, all that stuff as you'd expect on a boat of this size. But it's this openness in this version that's really nice. It all comes together really, really well. The other thing you can do if you've got crew is, as an option, you can close off the bridge here, the helm. So there's a partition that comes in here just behind the seating, a pocket door, so that the crew, if they're on passage, can close themselves off from the boat. But crucially, because of that side door, the forward side door, again, they can still get out onto the side deck. And a day head as well. Nice to see. Quite rare on a boat this size to have a day head on the main deck, but yeah, great to have it. And again, close to the helm, so you can nip in there and use the loo when you're on passage. And this is a great space, elevated next to the helm. Obviously you've got your twin helm seats, but it's nice that other people can join the journey if they want to when the boat's on passage. In fact, the owners of this boat joined the crew for quite a lot of the passage down here from Plymouth, and they enjoyed being on watch. So yeah, having people able to experience that is really nice. And a similar layout to upstairs really at the lower helm. Again, this boat has got the smaller screens. You can have 19-inch screens. It's still got the botting down here, but you can have another botting screen here if you prefer. This boat's not got it, but it's neatly arranged, classy, and lovely, lovely, comfortable Princess branded seats. They do look the business. Let's head down to the lower deck now. Down here, this is where the platform sharing kicks in, because this is identical to the X80, which means you get this lovely lobby area when you first come down here with the mirror and a bit of storage. Instantly, there is the option to have a washer dryer in there. This boat's not got it. It's got it in the crew space, but you can have one in the guest spaces if you want. And I know I keep banging on about detailing as if I know what I'm talking about when it comes to interior design, but the look and feel down here is just so lovely. Things like having this pattern here in the wood, again, it's not just a flat panel, it's interesting and detailed and harder work than it would be just to put something flat, but they just go that extra mile. It's really nice. To starboard, moving forward, we have the first of the guest cabins. It's a double, nice double cabin in here with an ensuite. They've managed to tuck in a little bureau here behind the door, nice big hanging locker on this side as well. Moving forward, on the port side, you have a twin cabin, which again is a good size, couple of single beds. They've all got a nice little stretch of hull window and a couple of opening ports for some natural breeze. Again, nice big wardrobe here. And this cabin has also got an ensuite with a separate shower cubicle. It's decent size, headroom excellent throughout as well. And then right forward is the VIP, and this is a very nice cabin. Lots of space here in front of the bed. You can get changed quite easily. Storage is obviously very good. You've got these storage cubbies around here, sort of knee level lockers down here as well, and then big hanging wardrobes on either side, so there's plenty of space for clothes. This has got a bureau as well, a slightly bigger one, but that works very nicely at the end of the bed there, and the television mounted up here into the bulkhead. And this cabin naturally has a private bathroom. I'll just shut the cabin door. Then, yeah, again, decent size. You can see the headroom in here is absolutely fine. Separate shower cubicle, as you'd expect, and all very, very nicely finished. But if we carry on heading amidships, we get down to the owner's cabin. Back down this passageway, there's a few level changes, as you'd expect, and then we're down into the owner's full beam ensuite, and yeah, it's another really lovely space. Got a great big desk here on the port side, dotted with storage, lift up lid here, a little bureau in it, mirror, space for jewellery, and then, you know, the bed, it's totally flat around here, this floor space, plenty of clearance above my head at 6 foot tall, so it's a very easy cabin to move around in. And you've obviously got your bedside tables with a bit of storage, repeaters for the lighting, so you can set the lighting from the bed, television, big television mounted in the bulkhead over there, and really good storage throughout, and not just hanging storage here in this cabin. You've got a proper walk-in wardrobe on this side, and that splits the beam with the ensuite, which is over on that side. And of course, this layout works particularly well because it means that this walk-in wardrobe and the ensuite act as another bit of insulation from the machinery space, which is just the other side of that bulkhead. Talking the machinery space, let's go and check that out, but first let's have a look at the crew area. You're definitely into the realms of a crewed boat at this size, so the crew space is important, and although there's no mess to speak of on the Y80, you have got good cabin spaces, especially this one on the port side. It's a twin, but it's L-shaped, which gives you a nice amount of floor space, and they've got a decent amount of storage in there as well. And then you have a single bunk over on this side again with a bit of storage in there too. The bathroom's here, and it's not just a wet room, there's enough space to have a separate shower cubicle. It's actually a pretty good size as well for a boat of these dimensions. And then I mentioned in the accommodation, this is where you have the washer dryer, and that's just tucked here behind the engine room door. And the really good thing for the crew is that although you've got access into the engine room from the cockpit through the deck hatch, you've also got a watertight door into the engine room from here. There are machines whirring, obviously, so sorry if it's a bit noisy. But look at the space in here. That's the ladder leading up to the cockpit, to the deck hatch. But then these MAN V12s, I mean, these are meaty old engines, but as you can see, really good amount of space in here, very easy to walk between them, a bit harder to get outboard of them, but everything is really neatly integrated. About this size, there's a lot of machinery in here. Air conditioning, hydraulics, water treatment, generators, twin generators, all of that stuff. but it doesn't feel cramped. Headroom is absolutely tremendous. It's really, really well lit as well. Very impressive machinery space. Thanks for watching that tour of the Y80. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give the video a like. I've talked about the X80 quite a lot in this video. If you want to watch our tour of that from Dusseldorf, you can click up there. And if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, click over here. Thanks again for watching.